Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today my groupmate and I will present about personality. My teammates are me, Nur Aina, Ilyana Natasha, Isatul Aisha and Arif Azari. Personality is the collection of a person's distinguishing characteristics, particularly those discerning personal characteristics that make one socially appealing. It includes both inherent and accurate behavioral characteristics that distinguish one person from another and can be observed in people's interaction with their surroundings and social groups. With personality, it can help reduce stress and conflicts, also encourage people to see the brighter side of life, and even to face the most difficult situation with a brighter smile. Okay, the result of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator MBTI test for me is ESTP, for Muhammad Arif Azari INFP, and for Ilyana Natasha ENFP, also for Isatul Aisha is ISFP. With all those results, it will affect the job performance in future, which is my result. For MBTI is ESTP. I was an extrovert person. I enjoy doing variety of tasks and good at multitasking, so I can improve my skill performance in works. Also, I can reduce the stress of work as I enjoy doing variety of works. On top of that, my specialty is I was tending to solve the problem in a pragmatic way, which is dealing with things insensibly and realistically. Then, Ilyana Natasha got ENFP. Ilyana has the ability to communicate information and to speak clearly to others. It's easier to understand and comprehend the intended message, and to comprehend communications from others by listening and understanding. She is also full of inspiration and joy. She also can inspire everyone to do the project and feel the enjoyment of doing the project, also avoid the stress of works. Next, for Arif Azari, his personality is INFP. Arif is a creative and idealistic person. He has many ideas and can come up even in a short time. He will be able to complete his works in a period short of time. And he also had a harmony vibes, which meant that everyone felt at ease working with him. And Arif dictates that if there is a chance of success in his work, he will pursue it until it established. Lastly, Isatul Aisha is ISFP. Isatul enjoys assisting people and could assist her co-workers at his workplace. So she could assist her co-workers if they needed help. And everyone in the workplace will love and appreciate her. She was friendly with everyone she just met, so everyone would feel comfortable being around her. Isatul can make the environment of the workplace become more and better. Next, in this Big 5 model, the one that has the most influence on job performance is extroversion. People with this personality type are talkative and outgoing. They are more likely to experience positive emotions than negative emotions. People with higher extroversion were more comfortable networking and that they had more networking behavior. This will benefit more to the company as they have these people in their company. So extroversion is positively related with relationship performance and clearly a contributing factor on key account manager job performance.
So, why it is important to know our individual values? It is important to know our individual values because these values will motivate us to make ourselves better. By knowing our values also, we can learn from it to become and makes us a useful person. We can understand more about our real attitudes by knowing our value. For example, some negative value that are common is selfishness. If we see that we are selfish, we can change our attitude to become a better person because the only person that can change the attitude is ourselves. So, we move into the next one is instrumental values. Instrumental values are the patterns of behavior that are used to achieve the terminal values. They are concerned with an individual's behavior while obtaining our goals or terminal values. People use these beliefs frequently in their lives and they range from person to person, which can lead to disagreements. There are 3 instrumental values that we possess, which is number 1 is ambitious, hardworking, aspiring. Ambitious is an urge to accomplish something, reach a personal goal or do something. A person who is ambitious has an internal drive that drives them to achieve. People with this attribute tend to believe in themselves more than the rest of the population. For instance, my group mostly wants to become a successful businessman and businesswoman. Therefore, we hold our dreams by working hard to achieve our dreams. Secondly is honest, sincere and truthful. Honest is important to achieve to our goals. Honesty implies being truthful. Honesty includes making a habit of expressing the truth throughout one's life. A person with a strong moral character is one who practices honesty in their daily life. An honest person behaves well, always follows the rules and regulations, maintains discipline, speaks the truth, and is punctual. An honest person is trustworthy because they always speak the truth. For example, we honest in an education such as we answer the online test without looking at the references, so we get blessing from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. And lastly is responsible, dependable, and reliable. Being responsible refers to our ability to make judgment that benefit both of our own and others' interests. Before we can be responsible for others, we must first to be responsible for ourselves. It is critical to understand our limitation when learning to be more responsible. It is also important to remember that we are not accountable for matters over which we have no control, such as how other people feel or behave to others. Sharing responsibility for one's own and other success and failure can lead to a greater sense of responsibility for oneself and others. The situation that we can relate for ourselves is we actually being in the same group from semester 1. So we have been responsible and help each other for our group assignment project. Next is terminal value. Terminal value is the goal or the target that we want to achieve in our life and we work hard for it. By knowing our terminal value, we will have a motivation to achieve our target. Terminal values that we want to achieve will be based on our own instrumental value that we possess. The 3 terminal values that we want to achieve in our life is comfortable life, happiness, and a world of peace. For the first one is comfortable life, a prosperous life. By making ourselves as an ambitious person, my group can have a beautiful and lively life because when we have a value of ambitious in ourselves, we tend to achieve by working hard to have a comfortable life. We will make something to achieve this terminal value by focusing more on the things that we want to do the most and do things systematically. For example, my group mostly wants to become a successful businessman and businesswoman. We will work hard to achieve comfortable life. Secondly is happiness, contentedness. Happiness can be achieved by a lot of ways. One of the examples that can achieve happiness by not giving much problem to your friends, lecturers, and even your family. This can be seen when we being honest to others. The situation that can be related is by honest in an education. When we being honest in education, for example, do the online test without looking at books, we will feel happy and satisfied by not cheating in tests. Moreover, we will not feel worried if we cheat and not being honest to the lecturer and at the same time to ourselves. Therefore, honors are important to create happiness in our life. And lastly is a world of peace, free of war and conflict. A world of peace is we are not having conflict with anyone and live harmony. This can be seen by when we are being responsible in others. For example, my group actually have been in a conflict where one of my groupmates have been not responsible when making the assignment. It is because he doing the assignment recklessly and our group got low marks for the assignment. This lead to dissatisfaction among the group members. After that, we had misunderstanding among ourselves due to the stated reason and our group having conflict. We learn the mistakes and always responsible doing assignment after that. Therefore, we have to be responsible to prevent war and have conflict so that we can live peacefully.
Based on instrumentals, it says that my group mostly wants to become successful businessmen and businesswomen. To have a good job performance, we have to possess work values in ourselves. The work values that we have to possess are honesty, confidence, and self-reliant but team-oriented. Having work values in ourselves will help us to grow and develop. Work values help you make decisions in work and increase your confidence in your work performance. Firstly, by possessing honesty in work, it will bring a safe place for others to open out and share their ideas. It will provide a solid foundation for the development of cohesive and productive teams. And honest workers set the tone and demonstrate expected truthfulness behaviors. Employees benefit from knowing they can rely on what their boss says. For instance, the workers have to be honest with the managers on work. It will help you to do your work easier. Other than that, we have to respect others' opinions at work. If we respect other opinions, it will bring comfortable work environment at work. Next, we have to address conflict honestly and respectfully. This will bring a good relationship between workers and managers. Second, by possessing confidence in work, it improves your communication skills. It can make you happier at work and allows you to take feedback more effectively. For instance, the workers have confidence to ask their managers about work and not feeling scared to ask questions. Other than that, being confident in work will let me complete my task easily and do my job in work well. It will bring a good job performance at work. Third, by possessing self-reliant but team-oriented in work, it will allow you to be more dependent on yourself and less dependent on others. But sometimes working together will give me more opinions on my work. For instance, The workers will complete tasks alone, but always refers to my group mate or your group mate to give idea so that I will have more opinions on my work. Other than that, I will perform my task well with the assistance of my group mate. So next is a process that individuals organize and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. Two people may see the same thing, but they will interpret it very differently. No one has the same perception when viewing or examining things because people base it on their life experiences. People understand it in different ways, and many factors influence how we see things. Perceiver, target, and belief are the three factors. So first factor is perceiver. The term perceiver refers to your interpretation, which is influenced by your own personal characteristics. Different people, for example, have different perspectives on the same situation. However, we all assign different meanings to what we see, and the meanings may differ depending on the person. It is possible to change one's point of view or simply make things mean. Second factor is target. The relationship of a target to its background is referred to as its target. For example, it refers to a target's relationship to its surroundings. Before they begin to present the perception to the people, they must first identify the target audience. When a person looks at the target and attempts to interpret what he or she sees, the interpretation is heavily influenced by the individual perceiver's personal characteristics. Third factor is belief. Beliefs imply that each individual has their own perspective on certain issues. For example, because we come from different cultures, we have a different beliefs. As a result of all those beliefs, it influences or affect our minds to see or understand things differently. Beliefs are formed by past experiences, which is why the environment in which a person grows influences how he perceives the world to a large extent.
Kelly's attribution theory. The most well-known attribution theory is Kelly's, which is on 1967 configuration model. He created a logical paradigm with determining whether a certain behavior should be assigned to a personality trait or the surrounding or situation. Other than that, when people witness the conduct of others, they try to discern whether the behavior is caused internally from inside or externally from outside influences. The word cooperation simply indicates that a human may recognize the cooperation of an observer effect, and it causes based on information from several observations made at various times and in different settings. He conducts that while attempting to identify the origins of behavior, humans behave like scientists. Kelly attribution theory is built on three interpretations. The first one is distinctiveness, which show individuals how much a person performs the same way in comparable situation. Next is consensus, occur when an individual's response to the same scenario is the same as that of others. Finally, consistency occurs when a person responds consistently throughout time. Okay, so for the example of Kelly's attribute theory, I make it into a table, which is the first one is distinctiveness, the second is consensus, and the third one is consistency. So when the distinctiveness high, consensus high, and consistency low, the example for it is, the first one is, Alicia complains that the food in this restaurant is unappealing and overpriced in her workplace and not at the restaurant. So the consensus example is, other people in her workplace also complains about the restaurant. And for consistency, she does not complain in a restaurant and only complains it once. So it is external since she is affected by her surrounding. The next one is when the distinctiveness low, consistency low, and consistency high. So when the example is, Oma complains that the food at this restaurant is not tasty and is spicy, both at his workplace and at the restaurant. So example of consistency low is, others does not complain at the restaurant except for Omar. And then the consistency is high, which Omar always complain wherever he goes. So the result is internal because it was his self-control. Next one is steps in rational decision making. So the first one, we need to identify the problem, because issues is the difference between the current and intent condition of affairs. So for the example is based on my experience last year, I need to buy a new phone because my old phone is already up to date and broken. So the second step is identify the decision, which choose criteria or elements or criteria that define what is important in a decision. The third step is assign weight to each criterion. which is give each thing a weight in order to give each item an exact priority in the selection. For example, for me, the cost of acquiring a new phone is the most essential criteria. Thus, I prioritize the cost of purchasing a new phone over other criteria. So the step 4 is create alternative, which we identify and make a list of all potential solutions to the problem. And then the fifth one is compare the contrast the possibilities, by using the strength and disadvantage of each choice and rate it on each category. And then the sixth one is choose the best option. Choose the best option, which we choose the best option with the highest score. And then the seventh one is use the best alternative by putting the choice into action and making a commitment to it. For example, I purchased the new phone after reviewing all of the essential facts that influence her decision-making process. And lastly, evaluation of decision effectiveness, we evaluate the outcome.
In conclusion, the concept of personalities, values, perception, and decision-making is important to employees. Personality can be defined by using MBTI tests, which can make everyone know about their personality more accurate. Individual value, which are instrumental, and terminal value is important because it will lead to everyone's goals and target. Perception is naturally occur to everyone because everyone thinks differently. Steps in rational decision making is important so that everyone can make a decision without having every problem and thinking rationally. Therefore, it is important to know the concept of personalities, values, perception, and decision making.